Good morning, Vesa.
Good morning. Good morning.
We are planning to have an awesome keynote in less than 3 weeks in Modern Workplace Conference in Paris.
Yep.
Maybe can you present first? Can you present yourself?
Yes, so my name is Vesa. I'm a principal program manager from the OneDrive SharePoint engineering side of the house. And I'm responsible, my team is actually responsible of the developer platform of the house, but I'm actually quite connected on other areas as well. So making sure that because the other people and feature crews are using our SharePoint framework and functionalities to build their experiences, we need to know what's happening on the other side of the SharePoint and OneDrive areas as well.
Okay. So on a day-to-day basis, is it more marketing stuff or technical stuff?
Good question. So officially, I'm not from marketing. I have nothing to do with marketing. I do quite a lot of social media and community stuff because I'm the community person and kind of a partner engagement person as well. So we're trying to make sure that our audience, customers, and partners are aware how can they extend and modify their experiences in Microsoft 365 in recommended ways. And that's kind of my job on then explaining how that can be done. Yeah.
So thank you for great sharing on all the networks and all the communities. That's great to have you.
Thank you.
About the keynote at Modern Workplace, maybe can you give us a short return of the past year and then explain us what you will speak about?
Yes. So within the keynote, I can't even remember the keynote's title, but that doesn't matter. I think it was something fancy. But really what we want to do within the keynote is talk about the transition of the industry and the business and kind of understand why we are where we are from a cloud perspective. So how the products like SharePoint and Power Apps and Microsoft Teams are coming to be what they are. And I'm going to use my career as a kind of logical historical steps. I started in Microsoft in 2006, so it's 13 years ago, which is quite horrifying actually. But I started as a consultant, and as part of this journey before I moved to engineering, I worked with some of the largest customers within the world in different industry areas. And I seen the kind of transition from the full on-premises world. Back in 2007, we released my first time Microsoft Azure. Actually, it was Windows Azure first, and then it was renamed as Microsoft Azure. So we're not going to spend too much time on the historical things, but I think the history is also interesting to understand where we are and how the history kind of made certain decisions for us, and then the impact of the nowadays industry, the cloud, and what does it actually mean for. Just examples, discussion topics, which I'm going to do have like a monologue and a few slides and discussion on things, is things like, is the cloud actually safe? And which is an interesting discussion. And what does it mean that it's a safe comparing the one? Or which services you should be using for what in the cloud, which is an interesting discussion point. So every single consultant actually has these discussions with their customers, which, and of course, I can spell the beans already. There's no right or wrong on that decision. Or when there will be a next major version of SharePoint and how that will kind of impact the cloud. I'm not going to spell beans of that one. You will have to be on the keynote to understand what we're going to talk about then.
Definitely. I think it's very interesting and very important journey that every customer should have a look on it, because every customer should do this journey at some point. So
yeah.
Many good feedback to take from your experience, I think.
Yep. Yeah. So there's like you said, sorry for elaborating that. There's a lot of kind of learnings and understanding the historical things and decisions which Microsoft did and how the industry has evolved to be a cloud-based industry actually explains where we are, because quite often actually the questions what we get as a, let's say, more senior IT persons they make sense if you know about the history. But if you're a new person in industry, it's like, why are we doing this still? And why isn't Microsoft fixing this stuff? And yes, there's always a reason behind of those decisions.
So after Ignite, we are just after Ignite, we had a lot of announcements around SharePoint, Office 365, Microsoft 365. What is your perspective about the most important things that are coming in the next month or in the coming year, let's say?
Sure. The Ignite is one of the key announcements, announcement timeframes for us as well in the Planetary SharePoint. There's certain areas where we announce them and they will not be available for a few months. But as an example, the Project Cortex is really interesting, which, by the way, we'll touch on the keynote as well, because the Project Cortex is a artificial-based analytics and document management services, which will be available in the cloud, which will be based on Azure-based implementation behind the scenes, and that's really there to provide a significant amount of additional value for the people who are then paying for the cloud-based services, because in cloud we have this notion of artificial intelligence and machine learning, and we can truly take advantage of these things. Now, can we do that in the on-premises? Answer, at least for now, is no. Definitely no. You never know what's going to happen in the future, but that's an interesting discussion point. But the Project Cortex, definitely one of the most interesting ones. I'm personally also super close. I built tremendous amount of .com sites on top of SharePoint at some point, which we do no longer do. But a global intranets, communicational intranets, we used to design those for a lot of the global customers. And so the modern SharePoint and modern experiences, and how do we surface then the modern portals also in Teams, and how do we combine the Teams together with SharePoint for a better experience? I think there was a lot of improvements on that area as well. Yeah. So it's great to see, as an example, that the modern communication sites, which is the modern portal in SharePoint Online, is finally, it is about the time to get to the same level as classic publishing. So you can do the basic stuff, but then also more, which is really great.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that's a great, interesting topic, because we saw a lot of interest by customer on these topics, especially at Ignite the Tour in Paris last week. So I'm sure at MWCP there will be great interest for this topic. So thank you very much for coming, and we can't wait to see you in Paris in a few weeks right now.
Thank you for having me. Looking forward for the discussions. So.
Yeah. Your keynote will be on 11th December.
Yes, on Wednesday. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much, and see you there.
Thank you, Patrick. See you there.